Hello and welcome to the day ahead. It is Tuesday, June the 16th. I'm Andrew Gagan. Well, the local market is set for a sharp reversal this morning where it opens with ASX futures down 1.1%. Global equity markets rallied along with bond prices while oil futures tumbled as a preliminary peace agreement between the United States and Iran was expected to ease inflationary pressures and lessen the need for higher interest rates. On Wall Street, the Dow hit a record high while the Nasdaq surged 3%. Rate-sensitive tech stocks rallied as investors took on riskier bets with lower oil prices easing inflation fears. SpaceX's shares rallied almost 20% in their second day of trading after the Elon Musk-led firm's record-breaking IPO pushed its valuation above $2 trillion. The stock closing at $192.37 compared with its $135 IPO price. Chip giant Nvidia rose along with Micron, which soared after at least two brokers sharply raised the price target for the stock. Airlines were among the leading transport sector gainers, with United Airlines rallying on hopes for cheaper jet fuel with oil prices falling, and the cruise companies also benefiting. And US oil and gas companies slumped, reflecting weaker crude prices. US listed shares of BHP and Rio followed the price of copper higher, and shares in Fox tumbled after it said it would buy Roku in a $22 billion deal. Roku shares also falling. President Trump says a preliminary agreement to end the war in the Gulf has already been signed by the United States and Iran. He made the comment as he arrived in France for a G7 summit, saying that Vice President J.D. Vance would attend a formal signing ceremony in Geneva on Friday. The agreement is expected to see a reopening of the blockaded Strait of Hormuz and extend a ceasefire for 60 days, allowing negotiators to tackle issues such as the future of Iran's nuclear program. Another likely sticking point is Lebanon, with Iran demanding a full cessation of hostilities and Israel's withdrawal, which it has refused to commit to. Meanwhile, the world economy has weathered the shock of the war in the Middle East despite a surge in commodity prices, higher inflation and strains in financial conditions, according to the IMF, which has said there are no signs yet of a global slowdown. The IMF will release an updated global growth forecast next month. In April, it forecast an adverse scenario of 2.5% growth in 2026 and headline inflation of 5.4%. US Treasury yields have fallen to a one-month low following the confirmation of a deal between the US and Iran. The US 2-year is around 4.07%, the 10-year at 4.47%. Australian 3-year government bond yield futures rose to 4.45%, the 10-year was at 4.88%, ahead of today's RBA decision on rates. The US dollar index is down slightly. The Aussie is currently trading at 70.7 US cents. Well, oil prices have fallen to a 3-month low after the United States and Iran signed a memorandum of understanding to end the war and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. Brent crude down more than 4% to $83 a barrel. Gold rose for a third straight session. Spot gold at $4,305 an ounce. Copper futures rose almost 1%. Iron ore is also up around 1% to 104 US a tonne. And Bitcoin is currently trading just over 66,000 US dollars. Ahead locally today, the Reserve Bank will reveal its policy decision, with the majority of economists expecting interest rates to be left on hold at 4.35%. That is your day ahead. See you again tomorrow.